On the final leg of our journey, we travel 6 hours north across the Mojave Desert to Death Valley National Park, considered by many to be the hottest, driest place on Earth. Extending across more than 3 million acres, Death Valley is the largest national park in the contiguous United States. With towering mountain summits exceeding 11,000 feet, scorching salt flats dropping to 282 feet below sea level, and 30 square miles of majestic sand dunes, Death Valley is a world unto itself. Amongst these varied landscapes are vistas that unquestionably rank alongside the most breathtaking the world has to offer. Of the 9 camping options in Death Valley, ranging from facility-free backcountry sites to nearly fully serviced, you'll find Furnace Creek Campground at 190 feet below sea level has by far the best facilities. Nestled in the foothills of the Funeral Mountains on the eastern edge of the park, Furnace Creek's manicured grounds are situated atop an underground spring, which nourishes a small oasis of mature tamarisk trees. A good portion of the campground's 130 sites are well shaded, particularly the 26 pads set aside exclusively for tents. Furnace Creek is open to campers year-round, but with Death Valley's extreme summertime temperatures, the most comfortable time to be here is between October and April. 17 miles south of Furnace Creek Campground, you can explore Badwater, a valley named by pioneers for the unpalatable 30-foot wide pool of stagnant water they found here. The real attraction here is not the water at all, but the massive salt pan which stretches across the sun-baked valley floor to the lowest point in the Western Hemisphere. It's well worth taking the 4-mile hike across the salt flats through the shimmering waves of radiating heat to reach a point 282 feet below sea level. In Death Valley, temperature increases as elevation decreases, so you'll also be standing at the hottest place in the Western Hemisphere, where a record temperature exceeding 134 degrees Fahrenheit was reached in 1913. Be sure to bring plenty to drink, and sunglasses and a wide-brimmed hat are a good idea, so you can fully enjoy the Badwater experience. There are literally thousands of hiking possibilities of varying lengths and difficulties throughout the park, and some of the very best treks can be enjoyed on the sand dunes. A 2-mile hike off Highway 190 at Stovepipe Wells Village will put you in the heart of a 15-square-mile razor-backed maze of 80-foot-high, rippled and contoured dunes. It's truly a unique experience to leave your own footprints in the very sand that passed under the boots of Death Valley's early pioneers. Making tracks in the dunes is most enjoyable in the cooler morning and early evening hours, when the waves of sand are at their most photogenic. The light is softer, and longer shadows enhance the texture of the undulating crests. In the morning, look for the crisscrossing highways of tiny tracks, evidence of creatures that have passed by during the night. If you're lucky, you might catch sight of a straggler making its way to a burrow amongst the roots of mesquite or creosote bushes that cling to life in these shifting sands. Despite being the quintessential desert image, dunes actually comprise less than 1% of the desert and are very fragile, literally appearing and disappearing with the changing winds. Death Valley's extreme temperatures generate strong convection currents that sometimes raise the dry earth from the valley floor, producing spectacular dust storms that shape the dunes. The direction and velocity of these winds are the forces responsible for the very character of these unique formations. You can actually watch as the sand dunes shift and change in the chaos of the swirling air currents. The more intrepid find it invigorating to venture out into the heart of the dunes to experience the power of the storm firsthand. For a more serene experience, you can travel 14 miles north of Furnace Creek Campground to Salt Creek, one of the best wildlife viewing opportunities in Death Valley. A winding boardwalk leads you on a half-mile self-guided tour of this unlikely, out-of-place wetland. Here, in the heart of the hottest, driest place in the Western Hemisphere, a trickle of water emerges from an underground spring and flows over the desert floor for a short distance before vanishing into the thirsty sands. This tiny waterway is a vital lifeline for a wealth of local wildlife, including the Salt Creek pupfish, which spends its entire life in this seasonal stream. The pupfish sustains itself on insects that breed in pools of permanent standing water at the head of the salt marsh. These insects are also food for the many lizards that make their home here, like the ever-patient leopard lizard, which you'll see prowling the creek banks looking for a meal, and the zebra-tail lizards that stealthily catch insects with their blinding speed. The name Death Valley sounds foreboding, but on visiting this great land of extremes, one realizes that nothing could be further from the truth. You'll find all of California's desert parks to be fragile lands of indescribable beauty, variety, and complexity that promise a memorable and rewarding camping experience. So plan an escape to these unspoiled desert wonderlands where you're sure to relax and slowly blend into the quieting solitude.